Today I'm talking about the complaints of Israel towards God is astonishing, and not only that, Moses' complaint against to God is also astonishing. Two subject matters, but they complain in a very different way. First, Israel complained, grumbled. The word is grumbled publicly against the Lord. Now that is bad. Never do that. You should complain to the Lord privately, one-on-one, if you struggle with that. That's what Moses did. That's the difference. Okay, so this is what happened. Numbers 11. Now the rabble Israelites that was among them had a strong craving, and the people of Israel also wept again and said, "Oh, that we had meat to eat." We remember the fish that we had in Egypt that cost nothing, and the garlic and everything. That's a generation. Just prior to that, the Lord rained down fire because they were complaining the misfortune of so-called in the wilderness. You know, the thing is, people still can't get Egypt out of their mind. Those guys still thinking about the garlic in Egypt, the fish in Egypt. Look, and the people of Israel wept against it. All that we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we had in Egypt and cost nothing. The cucumbers, the melons and leeks and onions and garlic. This is incredible. First, they were so cruelly oppressed by the Pharaoh regime. And now they're thinking of going back to Pharaoh because of garlic, because of the fish they eat. They have no common sense to thank God for that. And now that problem, they should just pray to God or ask Moses to intercede to God on their behalf. You know, I think that's one of the major problems, because they didn't have access to God directly. Everything had to go through Moses. Unlike us today, we have the Spirit of God. We can voice our complaints to God or our cry to God. Psalms are full of them. You know, David and the psalmist pray, "How long, O Lord?" But there's nothing quite like Moses' kind of prayer and conversation with the Lord. Okay, check this out. Moses heard people weeping, and the anger of the Lord was blazing hotly. Then Moses said to the Lord, "Why have you dealt ill with your servant? Why have I chosen to bear the cost? Why have I not found favor in your sight, that you lay the burden of all the people on me? Did I conceive all these people? Did I give them birth that you should say to me, carry them in the bosom as a nurse carries a nursing child to the land you swore to give to their fathers? You know, where am I to get meat? Give us meat. I'm not able to carry all this. Burden's too heavy. If you want to treat me like this, kill me. If I find your favor, I may not see my own wretchedness." Well, that is a very man-to-man talk kind of thing, right? Moses went full blast to the Lord, and the Lord took it beautifully. The Lord had no problem with Moses saying all those things, all pouring out his grievances to the Lord. In a way, he's kind of questioning and blaming the Lord for that. It's really quite incredible, because he's pointing the finger at the Lord. What does that mean to us today? The occasions that we can actually point to the Lord, point at the Lord, but in our personal private prayer. That's the difference between Moses and Israel. Israel gone public. There's groaning, gossiping, but Moses goes to the Lord directly. But in a sense, he's also pouring out his sorrows. And he said, "Lord, why do you do that to me?" Moses much better and cordial with the Lord relationally. That's why I said relationship is such a powerful ingredient. Israel complained like crazy because they didn't know the Lord. That's a key word. Because they did not know the Lord. That's why yesterday I shared how the Lord gave in Hebrews 11, the Lord said, I'll give them a new covenant. I'll write my laws in their minds and in their hearts. Because the old covenant doesn't work. Look at what happened to Moses, to Israel in the wilderness. You know, there's just so much rebellion. Moses is about to be crushed. I think that if that goes on, they may just kill Moses. You know, the golden calf already happened. And I don't know that happened already at that time. But there are just so many things happening. It is quite incredible. All right, there's no sense of people knowing that the Lord is watching over all. That's a key thing, guys. The Lord can take our complaints, but He cannot take our groaning publicly in front of people because they show disrespect, show a lack of faith, lack of trust. Moses dealt with it beautifully. He went to the Lord and had a very honest conversation with the Lord. In the minds of many people, that would have been too honest. It's a bit brutal, that conversation. But you know what? Because the load of Moses was brutal at that time. So this is the story. How do you deal with hardship, leadership? Moses was a truly very lonely guy, facing all the burden on his task. And right after that, the Lord told him. The Lord didn't explain nothing. You know. Then the Lord said to Moses, gather for me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders and officers over them, and bring them to the tent of meeting. Okay? And let them take a stand before you. I will come down, take with you there. I will take some of the Spirit that's in you and put it on them. They shall bear the burden of the people with you, so that you may not be alone. Beautiful. This is how the Lord solved the problems. Take some of the Spirit that the Lord has upon Moses and move that to the 70 elders. This is a great way of God initiating, appointing elders to help the pastor. Trust me, it's very hard, impossible for one senior pastor to run a 3 million people church. I mean, I don't have that experience, but just the thought of it petrifies me. We do need good elders and deacons to work as a team. And the key is they need the Spirit of God, some portion of anointing from the Lord. That's the talk today. Amen.